Hi, I'm Leslie Combemal, Cinema Siren, guiding film lovers through a sea of celluloid. And this time I'm guiding you through a mythology and history of Middle-earth. We're talking this week about the Desolation of Smaug, The Hobbit #2. This was filmed by Peter Jackson as one of 3 movies that all make up the story of The Hobbit. And in the second movie, he also is using the high frame rate, so it's 48 instead of 24. You can see it in regular frame rate, high frame rate. You can see it in 2D or 3D. I recommend regular frame rate and 3D. And then I also think that you need to watch the first movie before you see the second one, because otherwise you might get really lost. And it's a very exciting movie, very much worth seeing. Lots of things that are just eye-poppingly exciting, great characterizations, great new characters brought in, and I highly recommend the movie, but you're going to need to be a little bit prepared to know what's going on. Martin Freeman talks about what it was like to play Bilbo Baggins and why he loved playing the character so much.
I like his innocence, I guess, and I like playing the change from innocence to experience, I suppose. I like that. So that he has a, you know, a figurative journey as well as the literal one he goes on. That you get to play different aspects. I mean, every actor wants to play different just things, or you know, beats within a moment or beats within a scene. You don't just want to be playing the same thing all the time, and you certainly get that aspect of Bilbo definitely by the second film, that there's a person with more iron in his backbone, I guess, and he's just seen more, so his whole worldview has shifted. Yeah. So I think if he had to sit down and think about, God, would I go and really face a dragon? There's no way he'd do it. You know, would I kill 20-foot spiders? No way. Right. You know, he wouldn't want to go through the barrel escape either. You know, no one would. You know, if you think you might drown at any second. So it's just all out of spur of the moment decisions for him, and that's the best way that I think, as an audience member, you see change gradually, and you see it in the moment, as opposed to something that the filmmakers have cheated and they've come back and now he's a hero, everyone. We're just telling you he's a hero. Right. Well, why? You know, let's see why he's a hero.
Richard Armitage once again plays Thorin Oakenshield. He is the Prince of Dwarves, and he's leading his dwarf friends on a quest. These fearless guys are all going to take back the Erebor in the Lonely Mountain. It's their kingdom that's been taken over by Smaug, the dragon. How dare he? They're going to take it back. And Richard talks a little bit about what his favorite things are about the character of Thorin.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this middle piece, you really see Thorin at his lowest point and at his highest point as well. You know, being captured by Thranduil and thrown into his dungeon, stripped of every possible means he has to get to the mountain and finish his quest, is possibly the lowest he'll ever come. To getting to the door and opening it and breathing the air of Erebor once more, that moment fills him with such joy, such achievement, but mixed into that is the danger that he then has to face.
Luke Evans plays a human, and he plays a gentleman named Bard. He's kind of mysterious, and he helps the dwarves, and let's have him explain a little bit about his character.
He is quite mysterious, because I guess you don't really know much about him. He's just this bargeman who makes a deal with the dwarves to get them into Lake Town and help them pursue their journey onwards. But as the film goes on and the story unfolds, you realize there's more to him than meets the eye. He's not just a bargeman. He has a very interesting background and ancestry, and he's a father, he's a widow. He seems to have the trust of the people of Lake Town, which is quite interesting also, which makes him a bit of a threat to the master of Lake Town. So there's a lot to Bard.
Evangeline Lilly, the beauty who was in Lost, plays Toriel. She is a common elf, and she is going to help the dwarves and Bilbo Baggins get through to where they need to go. She is very excited about playing something that was really a dream come true, she says, and she talks a little bit about her character and about a character that actually Peter Jackson invented for this movie.
Tauriel is a common elf, and we've not actually met a common elf in these films yet, including Lord of the Rings. We've only met high elves, so essentially elf royalty. And the elf royalty are everything that you have seen the incredible women who have, and men, yes. Orlando, who have performed before me. They personified everything that is a high elf. So it was sort of my job to introduce the world to a common elf and a common sylvan elf, which sylvan elves are, in Tolkien's words, they're less wise and more dangerous than the other elves. So Tauriel is a dangerous elf. She is very kick-ass. She's the head of the Sylvan Guard, so she is a skilled warrior. She uses 2 daggers, a bow and arrow, and her hands when need be. Elves are good at improvising in battle if they have to. And she's young. She's very young. She's only 300 years old. Oh. It's just a baby. And so she's got a little bit of a sort of reckless side. She bulks authority a little bit more than you'd ordinarily see in a more mature elf. And she's naive to the world. She has been locked away in her realm for her entire life. She's never been allowed to venture outside of it. And so in these films, it's going to be fun to see her sort of bloom into a more mature elf as she explores the world and meets new people and creatures.
There are 2 amazing scenes in this movie that are fully worth seeing the movie for. The first is Tauriel and Orlando Bloom's Legolas, who bring the dwarves and Bilbo Baggins down the river. There is a big battle with orcs and a lot of action in this scene, and it's incredibly exciting. It's some of the most amazing special effects I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Absolutely worth seeing the movie for. So that's the first one. The second one is very exciting, but kind of a little bit, it starts out a little bit more intense, and that's the scene with Smaug and Bilbo Baggins. So that character, Smaug, is played by Benedict.
So when I met Peter, I found out that I got it. It was very strange. I met him for 3 other roles, and one of which I do play the necromancer. And he was very sweet. He was really complimentary about what I could offer the film. And I said, look, I'm really flattered by this attention, but really all I want to do is play Smaug. He went, oh no, that's all right. You did a terrific audition, and so yeah, that's we're going to get you to do that if it all works out. That's great. I was like, what? You're not really? You're not just going to get a very famous old rich voice to do it. You want to use my voice and my. Oh yeah, no, completely. I said, well, I'm really keen on doing motion capture because I think it's got to be embodied. I don't want to just do something to animation and do something in a blind spot and not really know how it's going to manifest. I want to lead a little bit of the creative process to culture and idea is physicality around the voice. And then the voice and everything really came from those first sessions in the mocap stage, which was really how the vocal quality you see in the film came about. And also a lot of the animation was built off the dynamic that I gave him in those moments. And then the storyboards filled out and I came back in to do more voice and more dialogue. But great process.
So that's that. That is The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. Say it with me, Smaug. You're going to want to see this movie. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe the last movie will get 5 stars, who can say? But you're going to want to check this movie out, and in the meantime, go find a favorite film. This is Leslie Como, Cinema Siren. Bye-bye now. Cinema Siren.